We're recording.
So good evening, everybody, and welcome to our special council meeting held by this Zoom method as our situation dictates. I would entertain a resolution to open the meeting. Need a mover and a seconder for that.
Jane?
Moved by Jane and seconded by Eric that this special meeting of council be opened at 6:50 p.m. All in favor? Carried. Any disclosures of pecuniary interest or general nature thereof? Hearing none. The only item on the agenda for this special meeting is item 3.1, a first, second, and third reading of bylaw 2020-12, and that bylaw is to amend bylaw 2015-32, being a bylaw to govern the proceedings of council, commonly known as the procedural bylaw. I have a motion related to that. I take it you all have a copy of that motion. I would take a mover and a seconder for that motion.
Well, I'd like to discuss something first.
Okay.
So what does it mean? Like, we're doing this. Why are we doing this right now? It's to make the meetings legal.
Yes.
Is that it?
Yes.
And the ECG group, they were having electronic meetings. Does that apply to them or?
No. It's not the same thing.
The
Not meetings? You
ECG
want
meetings, whether they fall under a category of electronic or not, I don't know. If we
Well,
need
yeah,
to,
teleconferencing is electronic. I was just wondering, like, does it apply to them or not? I just wanted to know. But
well, I'm assuming that if it didn't, it would after we apply it, at least anyway. CAO Johnston, I see you there. Have you? Can you recall the legislation regarding the ECG meetings?
Yes. The legislation, the changes to the Municipal Act that were introduced after the provincial declaration, which amends the Municipal Act, it only refers to council meetings and committee meetings. Does not apply to, or local boards, does not apply to the question of Councillor Foisey.
boards, yes, I believe boards are in there, yes.
Pardon?
Boards are in there, yeah.
Yes. Library, for example, but police services, for example. But the emergency control group meeting is not covered under that legislation. They operate and they are convened under terms of the Provincial Emergency Protection Act and our municipal response plan. So once that whether there was an emergency declaration declared or not, once those ECG meetings convene, they're under the municipal response plan, not under this legislation here. So they could do teleconference, which we did originally. You can use any platform like this as well, but those meetings are closed to the public.
I just was wondering.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew the committees and boards and township were under there. They didn't mention that. I was just wondering if it.
And it, as you can see in the bylaw, it only this authority to have meetings this way only exists as long as there is an emergency declaration declared. Once that's over, then it's back to quorum in person.
Okay.
Will not extend into post declaration.
Okay, so I'm assuming the declaration, the emergency declaration is still on at the province level there?
They've just
So we're looking
extended it.
at, this was the last day today.
They just extended it.
Okay, so I didn't know. I didn't.
Yeah, that was
I
just done
wanted to
today.
watch the news here, but okay.
To
To the
when?
31st of May.
Or June 2nd or?
31st of May.
Okay.
Okay, welcome, Ann, to our group here.
Yeah, sorry I was late. I was trying to get dinner ready and I'm trying to get on my not usual laptop to look at the agenda. I
Yeah,
apologize.
well, I think 6:45 threw everybody off anyway, but that's okay. And I see Jim has joined our group here too.
Yep.
Okay, we're just we've opened our meeting. We've disclosed no pecuniary interests, and we're about to consider a mover and a seconder for our motion regarding the bylaw amendment of the procedural bylaw. Would there be anybody willing to move and second that motion? I see Jane with her hand up.
I need a
Sylvie,
seconder.
is that a seconding?
Sure, but I also
Okay.
have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
So just the number, well, it's regarding that, it's regarding this, whatever, the 4.4.41. Do we open it first, move it first, and then we discuss it, or?
4.4.4 of the procedural bylaw?
Yes, yes.
Oh. Diane, in my package, do I have the procedural bylaw?
In your
But just the one that's being
package,
amended here.
Pardon?
Just this one here that is being amended,
Yes?
that is being brought forward here, number 1, but 4.4.4 at the bottom, before number 2. It said the procedures for electronic meeting. The clerk,
Okay.
his or her designate, may from time to time establish or amend procedures relating to electronic meetings. So I don't know why that section is in there. You know, now that we're all here and we can all vote at any time, there's no need to be amending anything without us, kind of thing.
that would be for future council.
Pardon?
That would be for future council.
What do you mean for future?
For future councils,
Yeah.
they would have the right to amend this bylaw as well.
Yes, but why do we need that right now? Like, why do we need to put that line, that 4.4.4? Why does that need to be in there?
Okay, I see you. If you want to change it later on, they could change it. Is that
For example, Counselor Sylvie, for example, this is for future council meetings.
Right.
As I said, these provisions only apply to this council,
Okay.
and only as long as the declaration is enforced. Once that happens, the amendment to this bylaw is null and void. And that clause in there, 4.4, is put in there, but that was the information that was provided to us by the Ministry of Municipal Affairs. It's simply an administrative thing there. If we have an issue during our meeting tonight, and we need to make some changes, that just allows Diane as the host to do that.
Well, what kind of changes, like?
I don't know.
If one doesn't have access, maybe go to the phone type thing or something like that. If for some reason you're kicked out there or something goes wrong with your computer, you can go on the phone and.
You could do that, yes.
Yeah, so that would be one of the cases.
And
allow that.
speaking on behalf of Diane, the two of us, there aren't going to be any changes made to how we operate these meetings without going through Randy and council. It just allows us to do that. That's all. It's an administrative item.
I don't have the procedural bylaw here in front of me, so I'm at a loss of quoting that exact section, but
It should be in the bigger envelope.
No, but the section we're talking about, Your Worship, is not in the procedural bylaw. It's in this bylaw.
It's in the new.
It's in the new bylaw that we're doing tonight.
yeah.
Well, I wanted to see the old procedural bylaw, but it wasn't on the township site.
So this is just adding to our
Yes.
procedural bylaw for now.
Yes,
Yes.
it is.
On electronic meetings only. Only on electronic meetings.
Okay, I got it.
Okay? You look perplexed.
Hmm?
You look perplexed.
There's a
Have
lot.
it.
There's a lot of I hear a word every,
Oh, yeah.
like every now and again, I hear some pausing in, like it's almost robotic.
There is a 20-second delay when everybody speaks. So you have to get used to that.
A 20-second,
Yes,
2 second. No.
20 seconds.
If I may, we have
Yes.
Zoom conference every morning at 8:30 for about an hour. Every day I have Zoom conference. We have this problem every day. Everybody should be muted. Only the one that's talking unmutes themselves. So if everybody mutes themselves, you're going to have less interference.
Okay, got it.
We're just
Unless
getting
you
good
wanna
at this, so. I'm just looking in my package here for a copy of that procedural bylaw, but
I just gave you the copy of the bylaw, the amendment to the bylaw.
So look at number 1, down to 4.4.4, which was the one that I was inquiring.
well, the bylaws, Diane, would that have been in the main package or would it have been in the special meeting package?
The special meeting patch.
Okay, in my special meeting package. Yes. 4.4.2 electronic meeting. During an emergency, a regular or special council meeting may be conducted by electronic meeting in accordance with this section and with any procedures as established by the clerk or his or her designate. Council members may participate electronically in such meeting, including voting. Council members participating electronically in such meeting shall be counted in determining whether a quorum exists at the commencement and at any point in time during the meeting. 4.43, a closed session may include a closed session when conducted in the absence of the public and in accordance with this section. And 4.44, procedures for electronic meeting. The clerk or his or her designate may, from time to time, establish or amend procedures related to electronic meetings, provided that such procedures do not conflict with the provisions of Article 4 of this bylaw. And then it moves to Section 2, that all other provisions of this bylaw shall remain in effect. So I would take 4.4.4 to mean if, for example, tonight we found that Zoom was a disaster and we wanted to move to a different delivery system of a video meeting, that would allow the clerk or designate to choose a different provider for that. But it doesn't give them broad sweeping powers, and it's only related to electronic meetings.
That's right.
Is that how it was intended?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay. Is there anybody else has issue with that 4.4.4 section of it? Okay. So then, has that answered your question though, Councillor Baudouin, or?
Yeah.
So then I would take a mover and a seconder related to amending that bylaw. And I trust you all have a copy of the motion that you're about to move and second.
I have Jane as the mover. I need a seconder.
Had
Which
two
one?
at the same time. Councillor Viancore, I guess.
Okay.
Second it.
So whereas council deems it necessary and expedient to pass 3 readings of the following bylaw at this session, be it hereby resolved that a bylaw to amend bylaw 2015-32, a bylaw to govern the proceedings of the council of the corporation of the township of Bonfield, its committees and boards during a declared emergency, be read a first, second, and third time, passed and numbered 2020-12, and that the said bylaw be signed by the mayor and clerk, sealed with the seal of the corporation, and be engrossed in the bylaw book. Any other questions on this one? All in favor? Carried. that was all the business for our special meeting. I'd take a mover and a seconder to adjourn the special meeting. Moved by
Eric?
Councillor Foisey, seconded by Councillor Viancore, that this special meeting of council be adjourned at 7:04 PM. All in favor? Carried. Okay, so now we'll transfer over into our regular council meeting. Okay. So, welcome everybody. Just have to get my motions here. Everybody ready to go on the regular meeting? Okay. I would take a motion to open the meeting. Moved by Councillor Viancore, seconded by Councillor Lagasse, that this meeting be opened at 7:05 PM. All in favor? Carried.
I'm sorry, it was moved by who? Who was the
Um,
mover?
Councillor Viancore and
Okay.
seconded by Councillor Baudouin.
Thank you.
You're welcome. If I'm going too fast at any point, let me know.
Okay.
Didn't take me long to lose my agenda.
If we lose everybody, just go sign back in. Because sometimes it does that.
I will be more organized next time. I thought paper would help. Doesn't seem to be.
Just a little FYI, the favor has been extended to June 2nd. According to the Ontario State of Emergency, Toronto CTV News, they were saying June 2nd.
The emergency is extended to June 2nd?
Yeah.
Okay. Our last meeting was March 10th, 2020, and we have minutes in our package from that meeting. I would take a mover and a seconder to consider adopting those minutes of March 10th. Moved by Councillor Lagasse, seconded by Councillor Foisey. Any questions on the minutes at all? Sylvie's audio and video is gone, so I'm gonna wait a minute.
No, she's checking the minutes.
Yeah,
She's
I think
still
she
there.
goes
She's
back.
just checking the minutes.
But she's going back and forth.
Back and forth. There she's back.
Okay. All in favor of the minutes of March 10th? Carried?
So when I go back to look at the notes, I disappear?
Yes.
Yep.
Ah,
That's why I decided at the last minute to print off the,
that would have been a
Motions.
good thing to know, a good thing to
Yeah.
do, because this is awkward. I don't know, I don't have it, I can't even get it on my phone because it's on the agenda notes on the iPad. So I'm going to be going back there shortly.
Yeah,
That's
having
okay.
a paper copy would be perfect.
at least of the agenda. Yeah.
Yeah.
Disclosures of pecuniary interest. Any disclosures of pecuniary interest for tonight's meeting? Okay, there's no presentations or delegations for this meeting. I don't believe there's any minutes or reports of any committees or boards.
Nope.
Nor are there any from the non-municipal committees and boards.
Yes, there is.
There's minutes
We
from the
had our
conservation.
We had our meeting last week, and in fact, we had Dean come and do his speech on his audit that he did. COVID hasn't really affected the conservation regarding to how it's running or anything in the budget but the budget stopped in December. So his audit went up to December. So the COVID didn't have anything to do with that at that time. We do have, we're still doing permits. Our staff is running fairly well. Maybe one goes into the office at a time. Conservation parks are open. Troy went out and put a stop, you know, the bear trash cans where you put your hand. He's taking them out and he's put just regular trash cans in. He's locked up all the bathrooms so that no one can use them, but the trails are open, and he put signs up right away. And so to just the typical keep your distance away. Our permits are the same. We had 41 permits in Parry Sound, and in North Bay 22 permits, so they're coming along. Last year we were in the deficit of 170,000 because because of the flood, and 125,000 because we didn't get the funding that we were supposed to have. So conservation kind of suffered big time with 300,000. This year, because we've made some adjustments with our finance, we're seeing things a little bit better. We're not hiring any students, so that's not going to be coming into effect or anything like that. But I think we're doing good with what they've been doing. The canoe race is still, we're not sure if it's going to happen. Some say it's been canceled, but others say that it's possible that it might happen. And I think that's about, and we were 30 to 35% lower, or centimeters lower this year than last year at this time, than the regular flood. So we're doing good in that area. And that's all I got to report.
Okay, thank you. There's no notices of motion.
Nope.
Introduction and consideration of bylaws. 8.1, the first, second, and third reading of bylaw 2020-13. That being a bylaw to authorize the delegation of authority to the chief administrative officer, treasurer, clerk, or other delegates for certain acts during the provincially declared emergency pandemic. And I trust you all have seen the amendment to that bylaw. It's very similar to the lame duck bylaw that was entertained for the election period a couple of years ago. Just gives the CAO and others the ability to have a little bit higher credit limit on their decision-making during the emergency.
There's only 18 days left if it's not extended again. So this
Yeah.
should have been done right at the start. But we're coming to the
CAO
end.
Johnston, I see that tool you wanted me to use to the side where people can put their hand up. Your hand is up. Did you want to say something?
No, I can't get rid of it. Diane, you must have done something. I can't get rid of it.
I have to acknowledge it maybe to get rid of it. There, it's gone.
Okay.
I fixed it
Okay.
Where did you
Alright.
see that? How do you know?
on your screen.
Down at the bottom, there's a button called Participants. And if you click on it, a sidebar comes up with everybody there. And then you can hit
Okay.
reaction, and it
So
kind
when
of
it
gives
goes
me
yellow, that means it's your hands up?
It should be a blue hand.
You're talking.
Should be a blue hand that comes up on my side at least.
Okay, I just don't see the hand. That's all good.
Okay. So back to our bylaw then. I would take a mover and a seconder for the amendment it's not an amendment, it is a bylaw that we're implementing.
We're at the end of the emergency. We're implementing it now. Like I say, it should have been done right at the start if it would. Should
I
have
really
been.
don't think we need one right now at this point either. I'm gonna have to agree with Eric. I don't think it's necessary to have this bylaw. We're all here if we need, if you need any, it's a phone call away, it's a Zoom away now, or a conference call away. So I don't think it's necessary, frankly.
Okay.
My view is it wasn't necessary for 6 weeks. We may have a few more weeks declared emergency, but I don't know. Might be extended again. I don't know.
But
Like
still,
it
there's not be anything that needs to be